Hello, I will be discussing accounting in construction today. Accounting is a career field that can be oversimplified when you first think about it. When you think about accounting, most people think about someone that's sitting in a cubicle doing nothing but individual tax returns. However, there's actually a lot more to accounting than just, tax returns or audits. In the accounting industry, there are many moving parts in regards to accounts receivable and accounts payable, which makes it essential to have an accounting department that is organized and efficient. Many people are unaware of the different roles and functions of an accounting department, specifically in construction. The basic functions of each position are the same across different companies, but some differences do exist. Today, I will be using State Mechanical Services, a commercial HVAC contractor, as a basis for discussing different roles and responsibilities of each of these positions. Accounting interns, accounts payable coordinators, project coordinators, or also known as project accountants, and chief financial officers. Along with that, I will also be discussing some of the day-to-day tasks that are essential to the business. I will be discussing two specific tasks: invitation to bid processing, also known as ITB processing, and work in progress reports, also known as WIP reports, thoroughly. One thing to note is that State Mechanical Services is structured such that they do not have a controller position. So many of the duties that are typically performed by a controller are in fact performed by their CFO. An accounting intern within a construction company is an entry-level role. This is a role that is a good opportunity for college students to gain experience in the construction industry. Depending on the size of the company, it could also provide direct access to pick the brain of the CFO to gain knowledge on how things kind of operate in the business world. Interns are responsible for tasks that are related to data entry. These could include things such as helping the company convert employee files from paper to electronic, as well as updating and maintaining the lists of equipment located at various job sites. This role comes with limited communication to external parties, but I think it's still a valuable and a great way to gain experience in an office setting, which is very useful later on. Interns also aid in the accounts payable reconciliation process, which involves looking at account statements from vendors to verify that the information on those statements is correct and consistent with the information that we have entered in our system. In addition, interns also help the sales department by assisting in the ITB process, which I will discuss, as I said, later on. I believe that an internship in a construction company provides valuable experience that can transfer to a full-time public accounting position. A lot of public accounting firms have clients within the construction industry, and having that basic knowledge of how the accounting department works within that industry is very valuable and could set you apart from others. The accounts payable coordinator is also an entry-level position, but it is above the intern in the organizational hierarchy. I interviewed Kayla Snurka, who works as the accounts payable coordinator for State Mechanical Services, the commercial HVAC contractor, to gain more knowledge about her position. People in this position are responsible for entering any invoices that are received into the accounting software. These invoices are then sent to the project executive, or the salesman, you could say, that is responsible for that job, for the job that the invoice is associated with. Once the project executive receives that invoice, they then either approve it or deny it. If they approve it, that means they accept and understand and agree that that invoice did coincide with something that they did on that job or some other, it was an expenditure of that specific job. Once that invoice is approved by the project executive, the accounts payable coordinator then has to wait for the CFO to approve the invoice to be paid, or give her the notification to say, yep, all right, we can go ahead and pay this now. In the construction industry, that it's kind of weird. It's not necessarily this bill is due in net 30 days. For the most part in the construction industry, invoices are kind of paid at a paid when paid basis. So that means, as soon as the general contractor, if you're a subcontractor, as soon as the general contractor pays you for the work that you've done, you then go ahead and take whatever you got from that and pay any subcontractor that you hired yourself, and then from there, that's kind of how you have keep the cash flow at a healthy level. As I said, the AP coordinator, after the CFO approves the invoice to actually be paid, they begin the process of actually cutting the check for payment. AP coordinators are also responsible for fielding any calls or emails in regards to any outstanding balances the company has. They'll give information to whoever's inquiring when it is appropriate. They're also responsible for conducting reconciliations of AP statements. I mentioned earlier with interns, AP coordinators can delegate some of this responsibility to the interns, but it is part of their job description, quote unquote. In addition to all of this, they are also responsible for inquiring about the status of any credit balances that the company has with their vendors. Just to quickly explain that, credit balance is anything that you might have overpaid an invoice and the vendor now has to refund you the overpayment, or anything you've returned and now a credit balance is anything where the vendor owes you money. Accounts payable coordinators are essential to ensuring that all invoices are paid in a timely fashion and at the correct amounts. Moving on, project coordinators. A project coordinator is a key part of the accounting department. This position could also be known as the project accountant. The person in this position is responsible for overseeing the ITB process, while interns kind of do a lot of the work for the ITB process. It is part of the project coordinator's job description to oversee and ensure that everything is running smoothly in that process. In addition to that, they're also responsible for preparing any preliminary work in process reports or WIP reports, and responsible for any and all billings that need to be sent to the general contractor or to the building owner in order to be paid for the work that's done. And this billing is done based on the information that is gathered from WIP reports, which will be discussed later in the presentation. In addition to all of that, the project coordinator is also responsible for keeping all of their company's jobs up to date in their software or system. This includes reviewing and entering any and all change orders, which are additions to the already agreed upon contract, which increase costs and then subsequently increase the amount of the contract. They're responsible for inquiring about the status of any open billings, requesting and sending out certificates of insurance, and these are documents that outline and provide coverage for the company based on what work is being done. They're also responsible for preparing and sending out closeout documents. Closeout documents are owner, operator, warranty manuals. So making sure that all of those manuals are getting sent out to the owner of the building at the conclusion of the job. This is all part of what goes into the project coordinator's job description. They kind of oversee all of the behind the scenes work of every single job. You know, the project manager is kind of the manager of the job, you know, overseeing all the field guys and girls doing the work, you know, hammer and nail. But the project coordinator handles all of the logistics and the accounting side of each job, behind the scenes. They're essential to maintaining organization of a job from the initial invitation to bid date all the way through the end of the project and the completion of the project. Moving on. The Chief Financial Officer is the top level executive that oversees the accounting department. The CFO is responsible for overseeing and signing off on day-to-day operations of the accounting personnel. They are in charge of the payroll process, which includes entering the weekly payroll record, verifying any parking or miscellaneous receipts from employees that must be reimbursed, processing payroll for hourly and salary employees, printing checks, or ensuring that direct deposit funds are actually sent to employees and that employees are actually receiving their paychecks every week or bi-weekly, whatever the company policy is. Making sure that federal, state, and any other withholdings from employees' paychecks are actually paid and paid on time. And because it is a construction company, a lot of the field employees are union members, whether they're pipe fitters or welders or iron workers or sheet metal workers. They are union members, so with that comes union dues and other monthly union reports that are necessary to be filled out and filed and paid on time. The CFO is responsible for ensuring that the union, any and all union regulations from an employer side are met and satisfied. In addition to that, the CFO is responsible for forecasting and budgeting in order to help with strategic decisions which ensure the company's continued success. Forecasting and budgeting, an example of that would be the WIP reports and budgeting for the next year. I will discuss the WIP reports in a couple slides here. While there are multiple positions within an accounting department that work together in unison to help facilitate organizational success, there are also a lot of functions within the department that everyone performs daily to contribute to that success. These operations include stuff like opening both physical and email every day. It helps the department stay on top of everything to make sure that they have all the pertinent information that is necessary to effectively do their jobs. Filing of job information. This ensures good organization, and organization is an important part of success in the academic world, and it's no different in the business world. Having all of the necessary information in one spot so that it's easy to access when needed helps companies be more efficient. Along with both of those, you also have distribution of invoices, as I previously noted. Ensuring that these invoices get paid on time to maintain a healthy cash flow is essential. And the filing of contracts and change orders, ensuring that you know exactly how you're going to be paid and when you're going to be paid. Maybe not necessarily when you're going to get paid, but knowing how you're going to get paid and how much you're going to get paid and what work you need to do, that's essential, especially in the construction industry. Invitation to bid processing, also known as a request for proposal. It's the beginning of the sales process and not an accounting function by nature. However, it is important because in some companies, accounting interns and accountants are responsible for this. At the beginning of each project, a general contractor sends out an invitation to bid to all subcontractors for specific tasks. So HVAC, for example. So all HVAC subcontractors get this invitation to bid from the general contractor that they have a relationship with. These subcontractors then estimate how much it will cost them to complete the project and how much they will charge the general contractor to complete the project. When the ITB is sent, it includes information such as a walkthrough date, which allows you to set up a time and date to go walk through the job site to have a basic understanding of the space and the area you will be potentially working in, the blueprints for the entire project, and a desired date to have the bid or quote sent back to the general contractor. It's all included in the ITB. The person in charge of processing this begins by opening up a new job within the company system and assigning the project to whoever the project executive is that is associated with the general contractor who is requesting the proposal. From there, the next step is to extract all files and all blueprints that are associated with the company's specialization. So all HVAC files, specifically for my example today, all HVAC files will be extracted and put into a folder which will be sent then to the project executive that will be responsible for providing the general contractor with the quote or the estimate. Next, the project executive, as I kind of just said, will put together an estimate of the total cost of labor and materials in order to complete the project. And they will add the company's desired profit margin to the top of that in order to get the total amount of the contract that they will be charging. This quote is then sent back to the general contractor and they choose the proposal that they wish to award the job to. Without this process, there's no way to be awarded jobs or quote unquote sell their services. So it is the beginning of all sales transactions in the construction industry. Work in progress reports' primary function is to ensure that the company is following all of the necessary GAAP principles in regards to revenue recognition. The overall driving force of this revenue recognition method is cost. At the beginning of a job, you start with a contract amount and the budgeted cost amount. And at the end of each month, the total cost incurred for a job to that date is divided by the total budgeted cost for completion. And this will determine the percentage of completion. You then multiply that percentage of completion number by the total amount of the contract in order to determine the amount of revenue that needs to be recognized. So in addition to compliance with GAAP, WIP reports also help you analyze efficiency. To do this every month, you have to decide if that budget amount is accurate, if that budgeted cost is accurate. And if it's not, you need to adjust that budget to make sure that the percentage of completion is accurate and that you're accurately recognizing the appropriate amount of revenue. WIP reports are really important to the construction industry because, as I've said, they help ensure that you are billing your clients at the correct pace, and they also help you identify potential efficiency issues within your organization. As I've explained throughout this presentation, there's a lot more to accounting than just cashing and cutting checks. There's so many moving parts that go into an efficient construction accounting department that make the accounting department essential to an organization's success. It begins from the bottom of the totem pole, work done by interns, and ends at the top with all the decisions made by the CFO. I believe there's a lot of opportunities for people to work within a construction setting, and I think it's valuable experience that you can gain, and it'll go a long way in the future. In addition to the tasks that are completed within the department, the ITB process provides the beginning of the revenue stream, as I stated. And WIP reports help maintain a healthy cash flow and identify areas of improvement for the organization. I think construction accounting is very complicated, but once you learn and get a hold of it, and if you're working there, it can be a fun, fast-paced work environment, and it promotes great organization skills and great teamwork skills. Thank you.